By the powers vested in me as Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I hereby constitute this assembly as a legal congregation of the University of Pretoria. During this assembly, degrees and diplomas with all the associated rights and privileges will be conferred and awarded to the candidates whose names appear in the program. We request all of you to join us in silent prayer or meditation to give thanks for the achievements of our students. As Vice-Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria, I extend a hearty word of welcome to you at this virtual graduation ceremony. I would like to welcome the Dean and the Deputy Dean of the faculty, along with all persons to whom degrees and diplomas will be conferred and awarded to. We also welcome families, friends, and spouses to this virtual graduation ceremony. This is the third virtual graduation ceremony the university has held in the past year, after we were obliged to depart from the traditional graduation format as a result of COVID-19 pandemic, which, as you know, has made large physical gatherings impossible for the time being. Our first virtual graduation season commenced just 10 days after the declaration of the national state of disaster towards the end of March 2020. It was memorable not only for that sobering reason, but also for a more agreeable one. During those first virtual ceremonies, the University of Pretoria conferred 11,001 qualifications on graduates in absentia. This was a record number for the university and one of the largest graduating cohorts, if not the largest, in South Africa at the time. I'm delighted to share with you that the autumn 2021 graduation season is now breaking that record. In this graduation season, we'll be conferring a total of 11,424 qualifications, including 198 doctorates and 1,289 master's degrees. This is a great achievement, especially in these uncertain and unpredictable times. Such an achievement is simply magnificent. I mean this on two levels. One is the outstanding personal effort you put into persevering with your studies when normal study routines and methodologies had suddenly been upended, and I'll say more about this later. The other level concerns the collective contribution of this graduating cohort to the skills of our country, and more broadly, our continent. Compared to the rest of the world, South Africa and Africa as a whole have very low graduation rates per capita, a state of affairs that perpetually widens the skills gap. The fact that we at the University of Pretoria are now graduating such a large number of cohort of graduates is good news indeed for the development of our country and the continent. But this welcome injection of skills is not only about numbers. Just as important are the kinds of skills and the quality of skills that you, our graduates, will be bringing with you into whatever career or study pathway you choose to pursue from this point. For instance, the University of Pretoria students once again excelled in the ITC, the initial test of competence, which is the first professional exam for prospective chartered accountants. In November 2020, students from our Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences again achieved first position in South Africa. This feat followed on the first place we achieved in the January 2020 ITC, when an unprecedented 7 out of the top 10 students in the country were from this university. In addition, UP won the 2020 Chartered Institute of Management Accountants CIMA Prize Winner Excellence Award, as well as the Institute's Global Excellence Award at its first ever virtual award ceremony. These awards recognize university partners with top performing CIMA students in case study exams, as well as university partners that have achieved the highest pass rates for CIMA exams. What makes these accomplishments even more special is that our students excelled despite the disruption of having their ITC exam deferred from June 2020 to November 2020 owing to lockdown regulations. Well done to every one of you who was part of this incredible effort. Not content with notching up all the accomplishments I've just listed, we are also making history. One of our PhD graduates, Dr. Tumeka Mashova Raimudzisi, is the first Black female chartered accountant to receive a PhD in leadership. This is a noteworthy achievement, testament to your commitment and dedication. Congratulations. If time permitted, which it unfortunately does not, there will be many other examples of achievement under pressure that I could share with you as testimony to the resilience and endurance of the human spirit. In my book, every one of you has shown resilience and endurance during unprecedented turbulence and upheaval. The university is proud of you all. All your hard work, tenacity, and resilience has helped to get you to this point. Yes, the Institute certainly played its part. As the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria, I know what efforts and energies were invested in keeping the academic program going and enabling our students to succeed during the most protracted campus closures in our history. But what stands out for me is not the effort UP made in rolling out laptops and remote learning technologies, so much as the skills you, our graduates, gained from the experience. For our graduates to make a difference in society, they need to be creative, flexible, resilient, entrepreneurial, and collaborative. I can state with confidence that this graduating cohort has these qualities in abundance. They will serve you and our country well. University too has learned a lot from this pandemic. As you know, our preferred mode of teaching and learning before this health crisis has been the hybrid approach, a delivery model that makes use of traditional classroom-based learning tools supplemented by online and technology-supported activities. On the strength of our experiences online during this pandemic, we are reimagining the modes of teaching and learning that we are adopting for the future. Teaching and learning are going to be interesting spaces for innovation, creativity, and experimentation. Above all, we aim to provide a rich interactive experience that is educative and not just instructional, and which results in well-educated, skilled, socially engaged, and sensitive graduates eager to transform our society, our continent, and the world. We also aim to enable students to become graduates who can engage in lifelong learning, where they unlearn and relearn. In this way, they can navigate the emerging world of work that is an outcome of multiple disruptions of the life and the world as we know it, including the disruptions caused by rapid technological change. In the near future, we'll be launching a Center for the Study of the Future of Work. Allow me to touch briefly on the disruptions you, our graduates, experienced during your studies in 2020. I know that all of you were affected by the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic while you were studying. However, what I and my colleagues at the university do not necessarily know is what trials and tribulations you, individually and personally, experienced while completing your qualification. We do not know what difficulties and distractions were going on around you while you were studying for that crucial test, or writing or revising the next chapter of your thesis or dissertation, or what additional responsibilities you took on in your living space and with regard to your loved ones while soldiering through your year of completion. Were you perhaps one of the many South Africans separated from loved ones as a result of traveling restrictions and border closures? What personal sadnesses and sufferings and hardships did you endure as a result of COVID or otherwise in that most crucial time of your studies? Did you suffer loss of family and close ones, friends, fellow students, or colleagues? My colleagues and I cannot know what your lived experience was as you toiled to complete your degree, diploma, or certificate. What we do know without a shadow of doubt is that your success is hard-won and deeply deserved. Earning a qualification from the University of Pretoria is an achievement to cherish. Earning qualifications in the time of COVID-19 is in a class of its own. You, together with the 11,001 graduates of autumn 2020 and the 1,380 graduates of summer 2020, are unique. You have succeeded, and we celebrate your achievement today. On behalf of the broader community of the University of Pretoria, please accept my heartfelt congratulations. Your graduation ceremony is your moment of triumph to savor, celebrate, share with family and friends, and remember for the rest of your life. We hope to one day return to physical graduation ceremonies where graduates can walk across the stage in the presence of family and friends and take photographs. For now, virtual graduation ceremonies such as these play an indispensable role in your journey with the university. This is because a virtual graduation is a legally constituted assembly that enables you to formally graduate so that you can receive your certificate and use it to open whatever doors you have intended to unlock, whether in the form of further studies, of course, at the University of Pretoria, or in your career or profession. May it lead you to more opportunities and serve you well. Turning now to the future. In the same way that you and your fellow graduates are on the verge of the next stage of fulfilling your dreams for your life, so is the University of Pretoria. As I briefly mentioned earlier, we've been using the challenges presented by the global health pandemic to begin rethinking, reimagining, and repositioning the university itself. The university can play an essential role in co-creating the country and continent we want post-COVID-19. Here at the University of Pretoria, we see an opportunity to be one of the agents and drivers of change in Africa and globally, finding and deploying innovative ways to address poverty, unemployment, inequality, and social injustice. UP, as you know, is a hub for new ideas. When it comes to COVID-19 research, we are involved at multiple levels. We are researching genome profiles to be able to identify who in the population is at higher risk of contracting fatal viruses and other diseases. We are also researching how people in society behave during a pandemic. Because if we don't understand this, we cannot manage the spread optimally. We participated in international COVID-19 clinical trials and produced sanitizers, face masks, and face shields. Our Faculty of Health Sciences quickly incorporated COVID-19 into the primary healthcare curriculum. This is how we will need to respond to pandemics in the future, with rapid responses focused on multi-sectoral interventions. For example, our university is the only representative from Africa in the new University Social Responsibility Network, an international group of 16 top universities. And last year, the Times Higher Education's Impact Rankings rated UP among the top 100 universities in the world for its social and economic impact in 3 categories, based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, otherwise known as the SDGs. These are quality education, industry, innovation and infrastructure, and peace, justice, and strong institutions. We envisage a better, more sustainable world characterized by prosperity, genuine democracy, peace, equity and equality, social justice, and ethical use of all resources. And we are convinced we can co-create this just new world through high-quality hybrid teaching, together with transdisciplinary research and social engagement that is impactful. And of course, this co-creation must harness the collective expertise, energies, and goodwill of our family of alumni, among whom you, this season's graduates, can now be counted. As the new alumni of the University of Pretoria, remember the values from UP to always strive for excellence, persevere, respect everyone, be creative, innovate, embrace diversity, grow, be a lifelong learner, be kind, and make a difference every day. This is what makes the UP way of life. I appeal to you to be part of our quest to rethink, reimagine, and reposition the University of Pretoria, and in so doing, contribute to the co-creation of the Africa we want. Please take the next step by downloading the UP Connect Graduate app. keeping you connected to your alma mater and offering access to the many opportunities available to our alumni wherever in the world you are. Remember to always keep in contact with the alumni office at UP and let us know when your contact details change. No matter where you end up in the world, remember that you are part of the UP family, whose overarching strength is its diversity in terms of staff, students, the programs offered, and areas of research that define its excellence. We're an institution on its way to becoming a beacon for demographic diversity and inclusivity, a future-oriented and focused university that is a driver of social change. Congratulations on your graduation and enjoy the celebrations with your loved ones. Take pride in the sense of achievement that comes with knowing that you have excelled against all odds. I hereby confer and award all degrees and diplomas in absentia with the associated rights and privileges to all candidates whose names appear in the graduation program.
Doctor of Philosophy Zaki Abdallah, Physics. Thesis: Effect of heat treatment on the migration behavior of selenium implanted into polycrystalline SiC. Supervisor: Professor T.T. Hlajwayo. Co-supervisor: Professor J.B. Malherbe. Stefan Kutzier. In Chemistry. Thesis: An experimental and computational investigation of the magnetic properties of organic-inorganic hybrids. Supervisor: Professor M. Rademeyer. Anzal de Lange. Meteorology. Thesis: Influence of relevant meteorological parameters on pollution dispersion and air quality in South African pollution priority areas. Supervisor: Professor L.L. Dyson. Co-supervisor: Dr. R.M. Garland. George Dimba. In Chemistry. Thesis: A theoretical study of the mechanism of S-proline catalyzed aldol reactions. Supervisor: Professor I. Kukrowski. Co-supervisor: Professor D.L. Riley. Juvet Fru. Physics. Thesis: Optimization of halide perovskite thin films by sequential physical vapor deposition for solar cell applications. Supervisor: Professor M.M. Diale. Co-supervisor: Dr. N. Nombona. Zandri Harris. Geology. Thesis: Development of a 3D model for the Leeupoort tin mine, South Africa, and the prediction of exploration success. Supervisor: Professor R.K.W. Merkel. Panan Kiesman. Physics. Thesis: Electrochemical studies of hematite-based thin films for photoelectrochemical water splitting. Supervisor: Professor M.M. Diale. Co-supervisor: Dr. N. Nombona. Zandria Lamprecht. In Chemistry. Thesis: Synthesis and properties of Fischer multicarbene complexes of condensed thiophenes. Supervisor: Professor D.I. Bezedenote. Co-supervisor: Professor S. Lotz. Moshi Moeng. In Chemistry. Thesis: Synthesis and application of Fischer carbene complexes of group 6, 8, and 9 transition metals. Supervisor: Professor D.I. Bezedenote. A co-supervisor: Professor S. Lotz. Justine Nyarige. Physics. Thesis: Synthesis and characterization of nanostructured hematite for photoelectrochemical water splitting. Supervisor: Professor M.M. Diale. Co-supervisor: Professor T.P.J. Greer. Mulkhadi Rantu, Physics. Thesis: Synthesis and characterization of high-performance supercapacitor devices based on carbon manganese dioxide composite and carbonized iron cations absorbed onto polyaniline nickel graphene foam. Supervisor: Professor N.I. Manyala. Bulelang Sibula in Geoinformatics. Thesis: A visual analytics framework for streaming spatiotemporal sensor observations. Supervisor: Professor S.M. Kutsia. External co-supervisor: Professor T.L. Fansail. Joseph Simfukwe in Physics. Thesis: First principle study of doped hematite surfaces for photoelectrochemical water splitting. Supervisor: Professor M.M. Diale. Co-supervisor: Dr. R.E. Mapasha. Ndeye Silla. Physics. Thesis: Activated carbon from peanut shell and its molybdenum-based nanocomposites for supercapacitor applications. Supervisor: Professor N.I. Manyala. External co-supervisor: Professor B.D. Ngom. Dalvina Tarimo. Physics. Thesis: Synthesis and characterization of a novel sulfur-reduced graphene oxide, metal oxides composite for supercapacitor applications. Supervisor: Professor N.I. Manyala. Luke Uguoke. Physics. Thesis: Local spectroscopic properties of certain plasmonic and plexitonic systems. Supervisor: Professor T.P.J. Krier. External co-supervisor: Professor T. Mankal. Henry Vasco in Physics. Thesis: Effect of swift heavy ions irradiation on the migration behavior of xenon implanted into spark plasma sintered titanium nitride and titanium carbide. Supervisor: Professor T.T. Hlajwayo. Co-supervisor: Dr. M. Mulambo. Madeline Wooding. Chemistry. Thesis: Chemical profiling of the human skin surface for malaria vector control using combined chromatography and mass spectrometry techniques. Supervisor: Dr. Y. Nodier. Co-supervisor: Professor E.R. Rauer. Master of Science, Chemistry, Shane De Beer with distinction. Leileen Krier. Ansha Reinhardt. In Engineering and Environmental Geology, Hydrogeology. Golane Khari. Kristal van Staden. Chantal Schmidt. Environment and Society. Lungelo Dube. Environmental Management. Lerato Boyhang. Geoinformatics. Larissa Pillay. Rudiger Theater with distinction. Physics. Tato Manamela with distinction. Nostrelo Mkhwekyana with distinction. Nqupisa Mchonze with distinction. Polisa Ngcebesha. Shilpa Ranchod with distinction. Gift Rutavi. Bertus van Yerden with distinction. Bachelor of Science Honors, Chemistry, Lunita Baranga. Zen Johnston with distinction. Gian Kemkes. Reinhard Klopper. Jolene Loubser with distinction. Mac. Kitumezi Ndlovu. Mika Reinders. Dejani Ice with distinction. Lanzo van Heerden. Engineering and Environmental Geology. Engineering Geology. Leandri Brains. Cole Herbach. Vuyolutle Kanye. Matsiriso Mojela. Tanduxolo Msengana. Engineering and Environmental Geology, Hydrogeology. Nicholas Kotze. Geography and Environmental Science, Akila Karim. Ilande Engelbrecht. Miles Longhurst. Lindumusa Mabega. Basitsana Musenhle. Busi Sibotoma with distinction. Melandri Smith. Marissa Swart. Marie van die Kerk. Zinzi Shakai. Geoinformatics. Andrew Hansen. Brendan Jordan. Grant Tredrea. Emma van Nierop with distinction. Geology. Hisham Benarouche. Stuart Buchanan. Avela Machoncho. Slierj Mare. Rolibua Matshiche. Temba Metiso. Qoli Ngoveni. Balisa Nkato. Lisa Westhuizen with distinction. Masejo Pilane. Wouter Pretorius. Kanyisile Khatebe. Selby Sibula. Matlakala Sidibelwana. Mfuneko Sihlezana. Jorinda van Koller. Maximilian von Johannidis. Meteorology. Pearl Hosiame. Abigail Hollier with distinction. Tabo Mahoro. Samgelo Makwala. Kanyisa Makubalo with distinction. Mulebohene Mantata. Mpumelelo Manyati. Udirile Modipa with distinction. Maikutlo Mokakapadi. Donald Nkabinde with distinction. Physics. Liam Bueta with distinction. Zalia Bueta Stacy. Unaisa Dokrat with distinction. Graham Laurie with distinction. Michael Lovemore with distinction. Tebo Mahale. Fortune Moruta. Hilma Rowe with distinction. William Rasakanya with distinction. Benedetto Savides, Donovan Slubbert with distinction, Johannes Smith, Wilhelmus Struweg with distinction, Bachelor of Science, Yolani Bezeidenaert, Kuhn Engelbrecht, Henry Kekana, Londega Kumalo, Collins Goma, Karusha Kuposemi, Cleopatra Njinga, Celine Prince, Rishoketsui Tlo, Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Andrei de Kock, Alice Headley, Daisy Mdeka, Boitumelo Nukeri, Bereng Pagnane, Priyanka Ramnath, Celine van der Merwe, Danielle Coetzee, Bernice Curry, Clarice de Kock, Danielle de Wet, Tabani Mbogazi, Peño Modiba, Rion Miller, Nicole Perez, Kiwachile Raborife, Antje Ruas, Malanda Stein, Benjamin Zweni, Anya Turner, Annika van der Dussen, Stefan Zyman. Engineering and Environmental Geology, Tienes Bell, Jacques de Graaf, Christian Woman, Arnu Snijman, Owen Sermon. In Environmental Sciences, Peter Bester, Nogutula Masego, Lebohang May, Hendrik Bodenhorst, Claudia Buddha, Wade Breitenbach, Kristen Sherwin Milton, Mohomozi Khare, Mornay Leonard, Sanelisiwe Mtimunye, Ryan Namtiu with distinction, Tristan Rambaran, Tabiso Rankala, Simran Reddy, Enya Sharain, Tsidi Shika, Khumutsang Sibanda, Theo Zwaneng, Dierwald van Lingen, Giselle van die Kerk with distinction, Geography, Yaku Yeneri, Nompilo Mbogazi, Ntabiseng Mosesi, Torisho Noko, Justin Pyle, Nicholas Sun Hing, Ralda Finter, Geoinformatics, Zalbai Boshoff with distinction, Matthew Clark, Ion Crawford, Nicholas de Kock with distinction. Michael Forrest, Ronaldo Gibashe, Carly Crick, Khutazo Langa, Charity Mapanga, Ntogozo Nigati, Sean Moyhead, Kichodzwi Ntlatleng, Teresha Pillay, Jeremy Pryor, Danica Seyman, Kyla Throne with distinction, Welile Twala, Gillian Woodstock, Geology, Nancy Joaquim, Tiane Mabasa, Puti Nwebe, Adriana Alberts, Wilhelm Grasman, Khutazo Khapola, Naledi Litlape, Lucian Lowe, Matabo Maibela, Relebogile Makema, Nongebo Mamba, Machiel Mare, Khwale Motla, Kiaubaka Molitsane, Phyllis Mugambiwa, Jean-Paul Nau, Mahlatsi Ntake, Leboang Ntebe, Mos Pagati, Spiwe Kongo, Susan Rakhalakane, Marco Rusby, Zanele Zemo, Meteorology, Amgilani Mukari, Jess van der Westhuizen, Physics, Kevin Christensen, Friedrich Klaasse, François Conradi, Lizanne Duplessis, David Killian with distinction, Andrew Lumambo, Matumo Mapaya with distinction, Mapifo Moshape, Courtney Schachen, Esmarie Strijdom, Garth Wormington. Achievement Awards, Brooker Prize, Zen Johnston, Department of Physics Prize, Hilmar Roll, Dirk Visser Prize, Cilliers Marais, Department of Physics Prize, David Killian, Zoological Society of Southern Africa Prize, Kristen Scholben Milton, Rolof van der Merwe Prize. The prize is shared. Adriana Alberts.
Let us give our graduates a big hand for their hard work and perseverance. I would like to thank the families, friends, and spouses for supporting our graduates during their studies. We have now come to the end of the proceedings. Please join us in singing the national anthem. By the powers vested in me, I hereby dissolve this assembly of the University of Pretoria. Go,